YouTube removing the fucking dislike number. Like, has anyone, like, I can't even see the I can't even see the dislike number for YouTube videos. And originally, obviously, whenever I was more of a consumer of YouTube rather than producer of YouTube and making shit on YouTube, I cared like none at all. I just knew that I could dislike something. Now I can't see the number of dislikes, right? I have to play this fucking stupid game of math, right? Because they show you on your end like, ooh, hey guys, here's a video that you posted and it has an 87% like ratio. Okay? But how many of those are dislikes? Well, what's 87% of how many? Like, do you want me to math this out so that I can get an accurate number? But it's like 87.32%. Like, what the fuck? Maybe? I don't remember when they got rid of it, but all I know is I find it fucking stupid. Like, at least give creators the ability to see their dislikes. I would love to be able to see the dislikes. Because one of my videos, like, all the ones under it have, like, 100%. And then one of them has, like, 87. And I'm like, okay. That's okay. Well, how many? Because I want to know, like, how many? Like, tell me right now, how many? What does it take? How many? Because I need to know. And I mean, like, not so that I could just know. I mean, like, I would like to know how many people actually liked it to disliked it. I would love a decent ratio rather than saying 87% of people like that video, because that number gets skewed once you reach a high enough point. Like, it's how many? Like, it's so annoying. Like, can we get that back, YouTube? Can I at least make it an option? Because I remember the good old days of Battlefield. When Battlefield dropped their fucking trailer for Battlefield was 5, and they had like a 30% like ratio to a 70% dislike ratio, and we all pointed and laughed. Like, give me the option to see it, right? Like, I don't need this pseudo bullshit. Oh, you're fine, don't worry about it. You don't need to see how many dislikes. I want to see them. I want to know what people like. I want to know what people dislike. Let me see it, right? Let me know. Let me fucking know so that I can make good content for people, right? And make content people want. I want to know what type of content people want. I want to know. There's got to be a form of it, some way to know. Oh, you can, DOG. It's easy. You know what you have to do? It's easy. It's easy. Watch this. Download a plugin. No. People tend... Ow, I bit my cheek again. Third time. Like, people tend to really care about their like to dislike ratio to the point that it causes real harm sometimes. I think it was something like that. I can't remember. Sure? I don't know. Check bite is crazy. Just allow people to turn it off. Like, and I'm gonna keep it a band. All right, I'm keeping it at 100 with you. If your like to dislike ratio affects you enough that your mental stability cannot stay. Like, you can't have a mental stability, or you can't have a stable mental without likes and dislikes. Maybe you should consider something more than posting on, like, YouTube and platforms where you are open to criticism. Like, that's the thing people also need to realize. When you post something on the internet, you are at the whim of criticism. And that is what is posted on the internet. You have to be ready to take the bad with the good and the criticism, right? That's just how criticism works. The bad with the good with criticism. I don't get mad whenever people dislike my stuff. I don't get upset when people leave a mean comment. I take it and I try and figure out what to do next. I solve a problem, right? Oh, I don't like the way you said this. Okay, cool. Let me fix it up next time. No one can criticize me because free speech. All right. And it's like dislikes, likes, and whatever other comments like, and here's the other thing, right? If we do it for, we do this thing to help people who are posting on the internet because they don't want to feel disheartened to post better and cooler content, right? And, you know, we don't want them to get disliked and we don't want them to be able to see that number. But then we still leave comments on videos. We still allow people to reply to videos with videos. You have literally just as much scrutiny in criticisms in video to video. Like, I could literally just, I don't know, make a video replying to some person on YouTube who I think they said something stupid, and YouTube can't do a thing about it because law states that I can use their stuff as, you know, for up to free use so long as it is a different form and has a different meaning. Free use, we have that. They can't halt criticism. We can't protect things like being upset or being sad. Like, it sucks, don't get me wrong, but here's another thing, right? If dislikes are so bad, what happens when you post a video and you get 1 like? Oh, at least one person liked it. Yeah, and 350 people who maybe saw it didn't. They didn't, what, oh, we gotta be upset they didn't take the time to press the like button? Like, this is such a back-asswards way to protect content creators. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help anybody. Hi, Shmuley. Like, all it does is hinder people who want to make better content. That is all it does. It just affects people who want to make content and get active criticism so that they can continue doing something that they want to do and do it better next time. It is very, very upsetting and very, very, very annoying because I want that. Like, that is a huge thing that I want. I need it in a way. Like, I understand, you know, people like make it an option or something because some people just can't handle looking at it. Hell, I'm kind of a victim of it when it comes to streaming. If the once in a lifetime I look at my stream number and it says like 7 while I'm actively streaming, dead ass, I look at that, I'm like, man, that sucks. That's very disheartening to see right now. But then you know what I see? You know what I see? I see that there's something I'm doing that I need to change. Oh, this game isn't working. Great example, Stalker 2. My Stalker 2 streams have been absolute dog water. In comparison to me streaming League of Legends, my Stalker 2 streams have been dog water in comparison to viewer count and ratio. Like, it is crazy, the difference. Like, it is a massive average difference. And I paid attention to that, and I knew that. I even told Malk, I was like, man, it really sucks that, you know, League is doing better than Stalker 2 because I really want to play Stalker 2 for stream, but I also need to garner people. You know, I also need people to want to show up to streams. And so I'm at this point where I can't really stream Stalker 2 without just accepting the fact that it's probably going to just be a bad stream. Our best stream that we had of Stalker 2 was when Tala raided into us. Absolutely love her to death. I wish I could do more for her. I wish I could be an absolute awesome person and help her out or something of that sort and pay back that someday. Because that was awesome of her. I appreciate her so much for that. And there was that was the best stream we've had in it, and she had a big raid. Every stream before it was like 15, maybe average, maybe 15 average. Like I was looking at like certain so the way Twitch breaks it down to you and sends it to you after each stream, for those of you who don't know, they send you kind of a graph, and this graph breaks down the views between hour, right, per hour, and you can kind of keep track of it throughout an entire stream of, you know, highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. The Stalker 2 streams were literally a fight between 13 and like 17. I couldn't get above that, right? But then we do this 2 days of streaming League of Legends, 3 days or whatever number of streaming League of Legends, and it's 25, 28 minimum average, and we're fighting between, you know, 22 and 35, right? We're like fighting these numbers per stream, like really good. And it's so annoying that that is a thing, but literally what that tells me is that people do not like Stalker 2 content. At least from me. Maybe I'm not a good Stalker 2 content creator, which is understandable. You know, I don't have my my strong suit maybe just isn't in Stalker 2 light games, right? So maybe I'll stream that like in the Discord or something instead, you know, something along those lines, you know, rather than trying to make it a, you know, put it a part of the form of like content development, right? And that just isn't the thing, and it's very, very upsetting. But it also is super fucking helpful for me to understand like something needs to change. I want that on YouTube. I need that on YouTube. I want to see likes and dislikes because I want to know what people like and I want to know what people do not like so that I can do something different and work out something more and something better and make something for the people that people want to see. YouTube hindering that from me actually annoys the piss out of me for so many reasons, because I really would like to know that. Like, yeah, it's Stalker 2 because even Very Bad Scav loses like 20% of his viewers when he's playing Stalker 2. But, so a great example for that one, Jay, is Very Bad Scav's main form of content is Tarkov. That is his main form of content. A lot of the community he garnered aren't just there for him. They are there for Tarkov content. And obviously, I'm a bit more of a variety streamer, which is harder to do because that means I have to be more entertaining. And rather than my games be more entertaining, right? Like, my games are more of, like, people more show up for the things I say and the things I do rather than the things that I'm playing, right? Because, you know, I'm variety. You're going to get an everything amount of it. And over time, you're going to garner a community for a specific game, which is exactly what happened to Very Bad Scav. Most of his content comes from Tarkov, especially with his breakdowns of Tarkov hackers and, you know, keeping people from, you know, or exposing Tarkov hackers, essentially, and calling them out and hopefully getting them banned from Tarkov as they deserve. So when he plays Stalker 2, people just aren't there for Stalker 2. You know, that's just people aren't there for that. That's not what people show up for, right? It's kind of like when Dantes doesn't stream League of Legends, right? Like, he obviously has less people because he's not streaming League. Me win League, I know, right? And just, no, I don't want to be there. It makes sense. And so, like, it is very, very... It is very, very detrimental to content creators to not be able to see, to not be able to understand or see likes and dislikes. And it is just as, like, it's essentially like being able to pay attention to your stream number, right? If people don't like the game you're playing, people are going to leave, right? If nobody wants to watch what you're doing, people are going to leave, understandably so. So obviously something needs to change. YouTube not showing me this stuff doesn't help with me knowing if I need to do something that is changing, right? All they tell me is like, oh, people like watching a certain amount of time for your YouTube videos. Okay, well, why did they leave after, I don't know, 2 minutes? Oh, I don't know, maybe they're fucking like work called, or maybe they watched it like before, or maybe they watched just a little bit of it and something happened, or yeah, or attention span, or something, this, or this. Like, there's a million reasons why somebody could close out a YouTube video that they clicked on. Hell, it could be literally because in the recommended tab on the right side, they saw something that was more interesting that they wanted to go watch instead. So, like, what does the 2 minutes tell me? And well, it tells me fucking nothing. Like, YouTube, for the love of God, please make it an option to have the dislike button back. Like, for the love of God. It's gotta suck, though, having to play the same game over and over and over again because that's all people want to see from you. But then there are other streamers who always have been variety and they do great. Being a streamer is harder than people think it is. It is easier. So you make a good point, Headshot, right? It is harder to play the same game over and over and over again, right? It sucks, right? Like, nobody wants to sit there and play the same game for fucking, 20,000 hours. Some do, but you get the idea. And you go all the way and you get to a point where you garner an audience, right? In one game. And then you can kind of branch out because people like you. And you always have something you can go back to, right? It's kind of like if this is a Tarkov streamer, Landmark. He's a really big streamer in the Tarkov community. He has a bunch of people who watch his Tarkov. Now, if he goes and plays something else, obviously he's not going to get, let's say, example, 10,000 to make numbers easier, right? He's going to get his 10,000 viewers and, playing Tarkov, and then let's say he, for some reason, he goes and plays Stalker 2, right? And he drops to, 6,000. Well, obviously, a large majority of those people are there for Tarkov. And then 6,000 people showing up for, Tarkov to web fishing. Yeah, let's use that example. Let's say Tarkov to web fishing. And like, let's say 4,000 people leave because he's playing web fishing. Well, still, he has 6,000 people watching him, which allows him this ability to... Essentially, allows him this capability of going to a different game and not being absolutely destroyed by the fact that he's not playing something that his community particularly wants. And yes, it is hard. Yes, it sucks. But when you're that far in, when you're that far into a community, you already know that, like, this is your main form of content. So when you switch games, you're going to obviously get a plummet in viewer count. And it does suck. Like, sure, like, when I was playing nothing but Tarkov PvP, I was getting, 35, 40 viewers sometimes, and it would go really well. But, ever since I moved to PvE, I don't get nearly as much. And I understand that, but I prefer PvE more than PvP by a long shot, especially when you see some dude first day with a fucking 35 KD and 80 fucking raids. You really don't want to. Even communities focused on one game may surprise a creator with being really tolerant of variety, which is true. But also, a lot of people do stay for you to go back to games. And unfortunately, I think that's actually more of a gamer thing, right? That form of, like, not noticing, or that form of the way your like to being disliked area kind of goes, is when you get to a certain size or a certain point, the like to dislike of what you're playing starts changing. But also, when you're a gamer and you have a specific game that really works out, you tend to stay in that game, right? And then you swap over to a different game for a little bit to have some fun and enjoy the game. And obviously, you lose a little bit of viewer count. And you'll most likely see that viewer count slowly begin to plummet unless the community of the game you're with slowly moves over to something else that you are also moving over to. Otherwise, they'll end up finding another viewer or another like content creator in that department to watch instead. And so when you're doing gaming, it's very obvious to tell which one your like and dislike ratio is to. It's going to be mostly based on your game. When it comes to, let's say, for example, if we were looking at like the analytics for somebody who does mostly just chatting, right? When they play games, you know, they're going to see less of a drop in variety because they're mostly just chatters, right? They're already mostly there. So you already know that like most people are going to stay once you're already at just chatting streams. Typically, for example, when I look at some of the Vishojo girls and so on and so forth, when they're doing just chatting streams, that is one of their best streams. Then when they start playing games, they start to fluctuate a little bit. Some people start disappearing, some people going. But also, that's not necessarily a form of being liked and disliked. It's just a form of some people just don't like the game. Again, it goes back to the League of Legends thing. Like, some people just don't like watching League of Legends. People who are in League of Legends like watching it mostly due to the technicality or the technicals of playing League of Legends. Same thing arises with things like StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 was very liked, not because... Actually, this is a great example. StarCraft 2 was very liked very early on in tournaments because of how technically... like inclined you had to be with those games. You're running things by the second, by the move, by the action. And that was very, very important. Whenever StarCraft and Blizzard started removing that, you started seeing a plummet in how many people actually cared about their tournaments. Blizzard just refuses to pay attention to their analytics on how many people actually cared about things being harder and more technical, and so they quit playing, and so people stopped showing up. And that's why StarCraft 2 has actually become one of the worst versions of StarCraft. And that's just the truth of it. Same thing applies. Like, if I was to post that on YouTube, essentially, and show StarCraft 2 tournaments to StarCraft Brood War tournaments, one game released in 1999, the other game released in, like, 2016 or whatever. 2014, 2012, some number, somewhere around there. And... you looked at both of those, one of those would be highly liked more than the other one, simply just due to the fact that one is more technical than the other, and what people liked out of StarCraft came from Brood War, not StarCraft 2. And so you don't even necessarily need the likes or dislikes to see that in those videos, or in like those two videos. That's just how those two videos function. But when it comes to making content, especially for YouTube, and you're unable to see likes and dislikes, you don't know what the real problem is. Is it you? Is it something that you're doing? Is it the game? Is it the game that you're playing? Is it this? Is it that? That's where comments come in really handy. If you like this form of content, hit it with the likes. Well, what if there's dislikes? What if there's not likes? And if you can't get a direct and good number for this, how are you supposed to ever be able to tell that this is something that people want? It is very, very difficult because because then you're basing it just on a singular number. You're basing it off of, oh, okay, this video got 50,000 likes, this video got 25,000 likes. Okay, well, I guess more people want to see this video, when there could be other reasons why people didn't see the 25,000 video, especially whenever there's been issues with YouTube's and not getting announcements when they upload videos. Or whenever people you're subscribed to don't upload videos, or the bell gets fucking removed and people get pushed down in analytics, or you just don't see them anymore. The like and dislikes, needing to see both of those numbers is extremely important, and YouTube has completely removed that, and it makes it very, 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 very annoying, and I want that back. Please, for the love of God, YouTube, give me that back. Give me back the dislike ratio. For the love of all things holy, I need it. I'm tired of not having it.